Hello students and welcome to your lesson today. Today we are going to do some more work on pronunciation, but we're going to do something fun. In English, children often practice pronunciation by doing tongue twisters. A tongue twister is something you say, some words you say, that make your tongue a little bit tied and you can't really say it properly. But it's very good to practice and great to practice to see how fast you can speak. Okay, usually tongue twisters have many of the same sounds in them. And some sounds that are very similar. So this is great to practice if you are having trouble differentiating between specific sounds. So, let's begin. Our first tongue twister for today is probably one that a lot of you have heard, I hope. And it goes like this. She sells seashells on the seashore. I'll say it again slowly. She sells seashells on the seashore. Now, what I want you to do is say it slowly once. Go ahead. Okay, great. Well, now what I want you to do is try say it faster and faster and faster. I want you to say it 5 times. What I'd like you to do is pause the video now and say it 5 times as quickly as you can. So please pause the video and say, she sells seashells on the seashore. Faster and faster. 5 times. Okay, I hope you've done that. Now I want you to try say it faster than me. She sells seashells on the seashore. Okay, I think you're getting there. And let's go on to our second tongue twister. Right, well, the second tongue twister I want to teach you is a lot longer, and there are many different P sounds, E sounds, and I sounds, or in little letters, P, E, I. So I'm going to read it slowly once, and I'm going to say it fast once. I want you to try say it slowly once and then as fast as you can after that. So listen carefully. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Okay, that was one slowly. So now I'm going to say it fast, and I want you to read along at the same time. And what you should do is move your mouth at the same time as I am speaking, but don't let the sounds come out yet. It is good practice to practice copying the movements of the mouth of the speaker, and afterwards you try yourself and you should be better able to make the sounds. Okay, so read along as I say it quickly. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? Now, students, it's your turn to do it alone and fast. Go ahead. Okay, well, I hope I gave you enough time. If not, pause the video and continue. Okay, so this is one of the most common tongue twisters in English, and it's very funny because many English people struggle with this. Okay, right, students, we are going to do 2 more. The first one is quite long, the second one is quite short, but I think you'll find it challenging, as most English speakers do. Okay, So the first one, let's go, and let me just tell you a little about it. It will help you to differentiate your oo and ah sounds. So make sure the ah is different to your oo. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to read it once slowly, and then I want you to pause the video and try to read it slowly as well. Okay, so let's go ahead. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck, he would, as much as he could, and chuck as much as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Notice, students, that when we read a tongue twister or say a tongue twister, it is also a rhyme. It means the words at the end have the same sound at the end of each sentence. Okay? And what this is useful for is that it's like poetry. It's like a poem. And English is very poetic. It flows. You'll notice that when an English speaker speaks, they are not speaking exactly phonetically. We don't read each syllable with the same length. For example, in Japanese, each syllable has the same length. That is not the same in English. We emphasize the parts that we think are important, and we ignore the parts that aren't. That doesn't mean we don't say them, that just means we say them very quickly. So when you practice these, make sure you've got the rhythm, just like me. Let's do it again and listen to which words I'm emphasizing. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck, he would, as much as he could, and chuck as much as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So we have this on-off beat. Da 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 da. It's just like music. So when we read English, we have a little bit of a rhythm, and when you practice, it's good to overemphasize that. It doesn't matter if anyone thinks you sound like an idiot. I don't care if I sound like an idiot when I do it, but I know that when I speak normally in English, I'm going to have very good intonation. So when we practice, we overemphasize, but when we speak, it helps us to have the right intonation. But when we speak normally, we're not going to overemphasize it. It's just for practicing. Okay, so let's try this again, and we will do it fast. I want you to read along with me. First, read it along silently while moving your mouth, and the second time, I want you to say the sounds as well. Okay, so let's go. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck, he would, as much as he could, and chuck as much as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Okay, so let's do it one more time, a little faster, and I want you to say it this time with me. Let's go. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He would chuck, he would, as much as he could, and chuck as much as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Okay, so well done if you managed to keep up with that. And let's go on to our final, but what I think is the most challenging tongue twister. Students, the last tongue twister that we have is surprisingly difficult, as I said to you before. However, it only consists of 4 words. 4 words. But it's very difficult. For me at least. I really struggle with this one. So, the words are red, lolly, yellow, lorry. So this is to practice differentiating R and L sounds. So let's do it a little faster. I want you to do it with me. Red lolly, yellow lorry. Red lolly, yellow lorry. Right. The challenge is, students, to say it as fast as you can. Let's both do it now. I want you to say it over and over and over 5 times and see if after those 5 times you can do it fast without a mistake. I'm pretty sure I won't. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fail this one. Okay, but let's try nevertheless. Right, so red lolly, yellow lorry. Red lolly, yellow lorry. Red lolly, yellow red lolly, yellow lorry. Red lolly, red lolly, yellow lorry. Red lolly, yellow lorry. Okay, it's very challenging but really fun to practice. And while we are talking about tongue twisters, I want to show you one that's from South Africa that I learned when I was a child. Okay, so this one is not in English. It's not English, but I thought that you might enjoy it just for a little bit of a laugh. Now, we have a traditional language called Xhosa, and I had to learn Xhosa when I was a child, but I wasn't very good. But we had to say tongue twisters for marks. So even in my third language, that was my third language, I had to learn tongue twisters to practice pronunciation. Now in Xhosa, there are a lot of clicks, as you can hear. So the tongue twister consists of many clicks. Okay, I just want to say it to you for fun, so listen to this. Okay, let me do it one more time just so you can have a little bit of a laugh. Okay, students. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about some South African culture. I hope you enjoyed the tongue twisters, and I want you to go back and practice them. Okay? Try to say them as fast as you can without making a mistake.